You own a home and you've decided that you want to now buy a new home. How do you do it? That becomes the puzzle that we have to go and help our clients solve. You got a house, you want to buy a new home. What are your options? Do you have the cash to buy the new home? Do you not have the cash? How do you make it all work?
I think I like it.
And we are back with another episode of the Hamiltons Unlocked. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Jennie. We are also a real estate sales team in Metro Atlanta area. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, that's what we do. We also have this podcast.
Oh, nice plug.
Yep.
Nice plug. Yeah. Metro Atlanta, North Atlanta, more specifically.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So what are we talking about today, Scott?
Probably one of the most frequent situations that we get posed with by our clients is this topic that we're going to talk about today. So it's you own a home and you've decided that you want to now buy a new home. How do you do it? That becomes the puzzle that we have to go and help our clients solve. You got a house, you want to buy a new home. What are your options? Do you have the cash to buy the new home? Do you not have the cash? How do you make it all work?
Yeah, I would say that most people don't stay in their home forever just because they love it. They're just not sure how to leave it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so what do we do? And I think that is why most people in our demographic already own a home. And so this comes up constantly all the time. And today we want to talk about it on the podcast. So why is this question so hard?
Yeah, because I think most people, they're in a house, they bought a first-time home, or they're in their move-up home, or they're in their house, they want to downsize. Needs change, motivations change. We've talked about before the D's in real estate: death, divorce, whatever all the other debt. And so now it becomes a situation of how do I make this work? I want to get rid of this house, but how do I put myself in the best position to get the next home?
Yeah, I think that the truth is there's no perfect answer to this question, right? Because, basically it feels like it comes down to only two options, which is I'm either going to be homeless or I'm going to be carrying two mortgages.
Right.
And no one wants either of those options. So we answer this question a lot, and we can help avoid both of those situations, or we can put you in both of those situations, depending on your risk tolerance level and what your ultimate goal is. And so I think that a lot of the time, this is actually a very emotional question that is disguised by being a financial question, right? Because the truth is, the finances of it, there are so many ways to make this work. And there are ways in which we can work the contract to make it work. So, logistically speaking, let's talk about that first before we go into the emotional side of this. But logistically speaking, how can someone on the surface buy another house before they sell their own?
Yeah. Well, one, you have the cash to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So some people have the cash.
Sure.
They can say, hey, we'll go focus on buying the next house. Let's buy that next home so that we can then focus on selling our current house.
Yep.
So you either have the cash. That's not everybody. In fact, that's not most people.
Not most people.
Right. So most people, what it comes down to is they have a home. Maybe they have cash. Maybe they have savings.
They have some cash.
They have some cash. So can you use that cash? Or what we find, most people are in a position where they have the equity in their current house. Mm-hmm. They want to use that. They plan to use that. In fact, they want to sell their home, take all of that cash and put it in their new home.
Exactly.
So that becomes the puzzle that we try to solve to make it all work. And, while also we're in a market, and we've been in a market for a long time, where you can't make an offer contingent on the sale of a home.
Yeah. So back in the day, there were two ways that this happened. One was you found a home you wanted to buy. You made an offer contingent on selling your property. Essentially, that seller was taking a gamble that your house was going to sell before their house did to someone else. And you usually had no leverage in terms of negotiation. You just had to put that new house under contract for that seller's price because you were using your contingency to sell. Then you get your house under contract and you line up the closings, bada bing, bada boom, fine. That the problem is the contingency to buy a home just went out the window when multiple offers came into play and things started getting more leaning towards the seller's market.
Yeah, it worked for a long time because sellers didn't have any. They were sitting on the market for 60, 90 days.
Right.
And of course, they're going to accept an offer contingent on the sale of another home because they didn't have other offers.
Right. And like I said, they're just
Right.
betting that your house is going to sell before theirs would to someone else. So the problem is those went away. And so then we started kind of working in this like lease back world, right? Or temporary occupancy world, because we knew that once it was such a strong seller's market, we knew that if our buyers could get a home under contract and then we turn around and list their home, boom, we know that thing's going to sell in the first weekend because for years it did. And so what you would do is when you made an offer to purchase a home, you would allow the sell, you push out that close date, right? Or if you're the seller, you ask to rent back for 30 days. So you have the opportunity to stay in your house longer. And you kind of toy around with these leasebacks, temporary occupancy, which again, the stronger the market got for sellers, the less people paid to stay in their home. It used to be if you stayed there 30 days, you were going to pay at least a few $1,000s to stay there. And then it became, again, in a strong seller's
Yeah,
market.
you're giving them that 30 or 60 days for free.
Yeah. For them to go find their next home. And so everyone was just kind of banking on the fact that homes sold in a weekend and everyone knew that theirs would, and you just got the price and condition right. And so we had a lot of these offers that everyone kind of knew they were selling their home, but no one was worried about it. Now we're in this place where it's neither of those markets either anymore, right? It's not the market where you're going to sit for 30, 60, 90 days. You may as well take a contingency. And it's not the offer where it's safe enough to go buy a house and guarantee that yours is going to sell the first weekend.
Yeah.
So now we have to look at the financial piece.
Yep. So there's really what we've kind of come across. There's two very good options for a seller that's wanting to buy another house. They can do one of two things. And in fact, for years, I presented this to my clients and was able to do what's called a recast loan. So they keep their current house. We focus on finding the next house. They make the offer. They can put a little bit of money down.
The minimum whatever it is
amount,
for their
which was,
loan.
Product for a long time was 5%.
Right.
You're putting the 5% down on the new house. You're securing. You're getting your new loan, and then after you close on that house, now you get your current home on the market, get it staged, and all the things you got to do. When you sell that home, you take the equity and you dump it into your new mortgage, and it recasts your loan, brings down the principal balance. So the benefit is you don't have to worry about rates going up. You don't have to refinance and all the costs that are associated with it, and it's a very, very good product for people. It's a very good solution for people to keep their home, buy the next house, then sell their current home and use that equity.
Right.
That's the first option. What's the second option, Jennie?
Yeah. And on that note, on that option, I think, again, what we started running into, though, with that option is that as home prices rose, you get into what we call jumbo loan limits. It's not a conventional loan. So you need more than just that 5%. So
Right.
then everyone's like, okay, now what do we do? So
Yeah.
now probably the most common thing that we see is that people take what's called a bridge loan. So essentially, it's like getting a HELOC, right? It's borrowing the money from your current property in order to have enough, just enough to put down on the next house to actually purchase it. And so, yes, in a sense, like you are carrying two mortgages, but because of the way mortgages work and the timing of the payments, what we know is that when that person actually purchases the new home, they've closed on their bridge loan. What your plan is that as soon as you're out of due diligence on the house you're purchasing and you know you're moving forward with it, you get your home listed.
Right.
And you aggressively market it. You're not messing around. You need this thing sold in 2 or 3 weeks. And because a closing is usually about 30 days away, you may never even make the first payment on that bridge loan. But it's much different than having to make, additional mortgage payments. Also, when you close on a home, say you close on a home on June 15th, your first mortgage payment isn't due on that new home until August 1st because you skipped the first of a month. And so there is some leeway in there. So here's the thing. It can absolutely be done in most cases, but people are still so scared to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we have story after story that we can show anybody that it's worked, and it does work. But again, it does come down to, we've got some clients right now and they're very well qualified. They're, but their risk tolerance, they're the people that weren't going to put their money in the stock market and, individual securities and risk it all on Apple or, SpaceX or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it becomes their risk tolerance, and we're always going to do what's best for the client.
Right.
We just want to make sure that they understand the options that they have to put themselves in the best possible negotiating position if that's the house they want.
Right. And I think that that's what's the most heartbreaking is when that our clients haven't positioned themselves to be ready for this scenario, and then a home that they love comes on the market and they know it could be perfect for their family, but there's nothing that you can do about it. So that's why we always tell people, talk to us early. Let us educate you so that you can be having these conversations with our lenders, with your own financial people, so that you can understand what the best choice is, because sometimes it is selling your house first.
Right.
And renting, right? I mean, we see people do that all the time.
Yeah, we have apartment complexes near us that have fully furnished, apartments that you can lease a month to 3 months.
Yep,
and
exactly.
you can move in and be there temporarily while now you have your cash from
you're
the sale of
sitting
your
on
home.
your cash if that's what bothers you the most. However, I would say what's interesting is it's either, again, it comes back to being homeless, which that gives you that option, or carrying 2 mortgages. And a lot of times people ask us, what would we do? So we have a family, we have a large family. We don't have any animals or anything we'd be taking, but most people do. So what would we do? Would we buy first, or would we sell and take the cash and wait? What would we do?
Yeah, I would buy first 100%. I'd find the house that I wanted. I'd put ourselves in a position that we could find the next house and be secure in that, because I know the stress it would put on our family to sell this home and not have anywhere to go, and then risk having to be somewhere temporarily. I mean, we could do it, but I think the easiest process for us would be get ourselves in a position where we could use the equity or put money down on the next home, get that home, and then focus on selling this home and doing it right.
Right. Yeah. And you can't do that in 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but it feels really, really stressful.
And I'm never going to give up the leverage to another seller that we have a home to sell.
No.
So as soon as they know that, then it becomes now you just lost all your leverage in negotiations.
Yeah. So we would position ourselves to be prepared to list this one immediately while house hunting. Right. And having talked to a lender, a financial planner, and our real estate agents, which would be ourselves, obviously, to be ready to jump on the best opportunity for us.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's the best answer that we can give you today. However, everyone has their own nuances. And so...
And by the way, there are other ways to skin the cat. There are other ways to do this that we didn't even go into on this episode. But we are aware of those, and we have people that can help you accomplish the goal of buying before you sell.
Yeah. So if you're staying in your house, not because you love it, but instead because you're not sure how you're going to get out of it and buy your next house, reach out to us, give us a call. We would be happy to talk you through all of your options, whether it's today or a year from now. We want you to be in the best position to do what's best for you and yours.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, Jenny. Thank you for this episode, and we'll see you the next time.
See you next time.
Energy 'cause I know I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah.